key things that any story has to have if it's going to be a movie, if it's going to have a chance of being produced or reaching an audience. The first is it's got to have a hero. It's got to have a protagonist, somebody we're rooting for, some main character who's driving that story, who's the focus of our attention. The second thing, we have to empathize with that character. We have to put ourselves inside that character psychologically. So we like them, or we feel sorry for them, or we worry about them, but in some way we become that character on a psychological level. The third thing, that character has to be pursuing some goal, some desire. That hero has to desperately want something, desperately want it, not just mildly want it. Fourth, it has to seem impossible to get. There has to be conflict, because the goal of any movie ultimately, and the thing that makes a successful movie successful, is it creates an emotional experience for the audience. That's what you've got to do as a writer or a filmmaker. And emotion primarily grows out of conflict. So the bigger the obstacles that you throw in your hero's way, the more emotion there's going to be. And the fifth quality is courage. You want to write stories where whatever the hero wants, in order to get it, they have to put everything on the line. Maybe not in a thriller, they're putting their lives on the line, or an action movie. But it might not be that, but it might be their sense of who they are, their own identity, or risking embarrassment or rejection or something that they've been afraid of. But they have to risk a great deal. And I think if any one of those is missing from a story idea or a script, it has a very, very slim chance of getting made, let alone reaching an audience. Because I guarantee, because I've done it, you look at the top 100 movies every year, take away the documentaries and stuff, although most good documentaries have those qualities too, actually. But for fictional films, you look at the top 100 coming worldwide at the box office, and every one will have those 5 qualities. What my belief is that except for maybe Indian cinema in India, Hollywood filmmaking is the most popular in the world. I recently, before coming here, I looked at the box office returns for Sweden for the last few years. And in any given week, there's always a Swedish movie or two in the top 10. It's usually not number 1, but most of the movies are the same movies in about the same position that they were in the United States when they were released there. And I don't think it's just because Hollywood has more money to spend, because some of the popular Hollywood movies have budgets that are no bigger than Swedish movies or Australian movies or whatever. I think it's because Hollywood has developed a set of principles of storytelling that really reach the mass audience effectively. And because we've been watching Hollywood movies for over 100 years, it's also molded the expectations of the audience worldwide. So given that those principles have proven the most successful at reaching the mass audience, then I'm comfortable saying that's what I bring to the party. I have found that certainly in seeing the Swedish films I've seen or the Australian films, there are certainly cultural differences. There's certainly tonal differences, different subject matter. Humor is different in different places somewhat. But again, my expertise is not in what those differences are. And when I do the lecture that I'm doing here, or whenever I lecture in a country other than the US, it's pretty much the same lecture, because I say, if you can take these principles and apply them to your story idea, even if the idea might be uniquely Swedish, that it's about a celebration of a holiday that isn't celebrated anywhere but Sweden, that's fine. But the principles of how you create empathy, the principles of structure, the principles of what makes a love story work or not work, those are universal.